Okay. Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. I want to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is our last regular scheduled council meeting for the year of 2024. So in advance, let me say happy holidays. And with that, as part of our invocation tonight, what I would like to do is just say thank you for who you are for our town, and thank you for always showing up. And I'm grateful to live in an amazing town, the peak of good living, and that's what the holiday season is all about, just being grateful. And what I'd like to do with that is to take a moment of silence and that we can honor and be thankful in our own way. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all. If you don't mind, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll move now to our consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine to be enacted by one motion with the adoption of the consent agenda and without discussion. If a council member requests discussion of an item, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? I know consent 8, Councilman, you want?
Yeah, I would like to request consent 8 to be pulled into new business 2.
All right, consent 8 to be moved to new business 2. Is there a motion with that change?
I'll make a motion to approve with that amendment.
All right, motion Zigerman.
Second.
Second Killingsworth. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, move now to our presentations, and I would like for council members to join me down front as we honor some superstars here in our town. So if you would join me down front. All right, good evening again, everyone. In the peak of good living, that is Apex, North Carolina, it is always appropriate time to celebrate our amazing, talented town staff. And tonight we have the honor and privilege to recognize several of our key staff that played an integral part in the Hurricane Helene relief efforts in Western North Carolina that all of you are familiar with. As many of you recall, Wednesday, September 27, 2024, was a date that was life-changing for many. Hurricane Helene slammed across Western North Carolina and parts of South Carolina. The remnants of Hurricane Helene turned Asheville and many other municipalities in Western North Carolina into a post-apocalyptic landscape. Fallen trees blocking streets, roads turned into creek beds, power lines down everywhere, city water lines completely destroyed and removed, bridges torn apart, roads washed away, businesses underwater, and much more. The region's 2 rivers carried whole houses downstream, and I'm sure a lot of you saw the videos of this catastrophe. Hurricane Helene was one of the most significant tropical storms in North Carolina, dropping over 30 inches of rain, 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and millions without power for weeks. I just attended the Metro Mayor's Metropolitan, meeting in Wilmington last week. And I had the honor of sitting in on a panel that was led by Mayor Esther Manheimer of the town of Asheville. Mayor Manheimer talked about how she was so thankful that our neighbors joined them to help deal with the catastrophe. What was even more impressive, and it was a powerful moment, that they displayed the towns and cities that showed up to help. And it was an honor. It was a powerful moment to see the town of Apex represented on that list. So many of our very own team, Apex departments, deployed individuals to assist in the recovery efforts of Hurricane Helene. The departments that sent staff are here. Fire, 13 employees. Police, 12 employees. Electric utilities, 7 employees. Inspections and permitting, 3 employees. Communications and information technologies, 3 employees. And then public works, 1 employee. Now, many of these staff members were deployed for multiple days, and I had the honor to sit with our police officers, and they shared their experience tonight when they were deployed to Western North Carolina. And this week was something that was truly an unprecedented experience for them and others. Removing them from their core functions in the town of Apex, and more importantly, from their families. So this is not just only about the town employees, but it's also about the families and all that were involved. So tonight, we recognize each of these Apex members, Team Apex, with a Meritorious Service Award, which is among the highest service recognitions possible, and express our deep appreciation for those that risk their life, sacrifice time with their families, and so much more to assist our neighbors. So as I call your name, please come forward with your family. You'll receive a nice frame Meritorious Service Award and shake hands of our amazing elected officials. So we will take individual photos of each member of our team and their family. So we'll start tonight. Again, I'll read the Meritorious Service Award. With deepest appreciation for your contributions on behalf of the town of Apex, I proudly recognize you. Many people and families in Western North Carolina have benefited from your compassion and care during the days, weeks, and months following Hurricane Helene. Following this catastrophic disaster, you sacrificed time with family and loved ones, worked long hours, and navigated difficult situations. Your expertise and dedication to the well-being of our neighbors will have a lasting impact. The Town Council and I are so grateful for your service and commend your extraordinary contributions. So we'll start with the names in alphabetical order. We'll start with our first superstar tonight, Bradley Capps of the fire department. So if you would, Mr. Capps, joined by your family, please come up. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to do one individual. Thank you. All right, Steve DeCox, fire department. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything you do. That's all good. All right, David Dillon. Joined by a sidekick. Sir. All right, sir. Good to see you. Oh, it's a super sir. All right, Ashley. All right, Hunter Grimmett. Thank you, Hunter. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
it. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. From our IT department, Fernando Guzman. All right. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. I love it.
Front center. You guys get to be inside. Squeeze in.
Fernando to the right. Ron Hillen. Yes, sir. And family, of course.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Say hi. Say hi. Sorry.
Good, Melanie Moore, Police Department. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. James Newhouse, Police Department. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. Erica Seiko, IT. Thank you so much.
It's almost better, yeah. It's better helping somebody else.
Thank you so much. Victoria Simmons, Communications. Thank you so much. Melissa Stewart, Public Works.
One
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good luck with that. Thank you.
It's open here.
Oh, yeah, she'll be like that.
All right, Ken Weatherman, electric. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And finally, Jeff Womack from our fire department. Okay. All right, closing. Is there anyone that's arrived tonight that is that I didn't call? If that was report to the West Point. Okay. Come on up. Come on up. Yeah. Sure. Let's do a quick individual of each one. We can make this work fast, so everybody step out. We'll take one at a time. Thank you, sir. All right, let's give him another round of applause.
Everybody come on right in the middle.
Yes. a lot of people.
Yeah.
Vertically challenged in the front, vertically challenged in the front.
Nice window spot.
Oh no.
Very sunny car.
Alright, two more, what do you think? One, last one. Alright.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
I had an itch right there, but you took care of it.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on now on the agenda. We're going to have a presentation tonight recognizing our Apex Mayor's Internship Program. We have Braxton Williams and Zachary Young, MIP ambassadors. They're going to share a little bit more about the program and the progress since the inception. So the floor is yours, guys.
All right. Good evening, council members. I'm Zachary Young, and this is Braxton Williams. So if you want to go and click to the next slide.
Can you shut that door?
Close it.
So what we want to do with this presentation is just kind of run through what the mayor's internship program actually is. So it just got started last year, and we want to kind of walk through what each of the ambassador teams represent, and then also what we're doing currently. So our 5 ambassador teams, if you can see on the slideshow, is Champion Apex, Environmental Sustainability, Community Engagement, Communications, and Special Assignment and Policy. So we'll go ahead to the next slide. So first we have Champion Apex, and this ambassador team is focused on addressing the goal of fostering a welcoming community. So what this means is currently right now they're trying to make a town tour. So this will be in downtown Apex, and it would help acclimate new families or new residents to the Apex area. So what they're currently trying to figure out is kind of some of the logistics behind this tour. So how to market this tour and create awareness about this, and then also like accessibility. So we have a tour that can kind of be seen by everybody that wants to partake in this tour. So we'll go ahead to the next slide. And then we have environmental sustainability. So this is our group that kind of aids in our town goal of environmental leadership. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with what that means, but this group is committed to creating awareness about environmental issues in our community. So really what this means is we try to like learn about what's going on and then kind of apply that knowledge. So a past event example that kind of embraces this is the team went to a local youth climate conference just to learn a little bit more about what it means to be or an environmental leader or sustainable environmental practices. And then we applied this knowledge. Our current project, for example, is a pollinator garden at Apex United Methodist. So this is a little small project to get us started. Pollinator gardens are very good for the environment, promotes healthy growth of bee populations and stuff like that. So that's a cool little project that they're working on. So we'll go to the next slide. And then we have community engagement. So this is actually my team. And this team is focused on promoting the goal of like a high performing government, and the sense of like we're reaching out to the community and seeing what the needs of the community are. So we're collecting research and data on what is troubling the community. And I feel like, especially since we are a bunch of younger community members, it's definitely like a new sort of connector point to the community. So you get this new insight that maybe some of you guys may not really hear. People can be a lot more honest with younger kids. So there's kind of two prongs to this community or this ambassador team, and the first part is researching, and then the second part is presenting potential solutions. So an example of kind of us taking research and taking it to a solution is last year there was a town code. I'm not really familiar with like the name or whatever, but it was focused on residential fire sprinklers that being mandatory in homes. And so we researched what the implications of that town code would be, and then we presented a presentation to Mayor Gilbert about what we think, what our opinion on this like kind of town code, and then our hopes were to present this to council. However, the code got pushed back, so we never actually got to do that. Currently, we're working on finding new like connecting points with the community, and one of my ideas, or one of the team's ideas, was to create a community event stand. So like giving out like freebies at like community events, and then hopefully in return they fill out like a survey or something like that. So we're trying to be a little bit more creative this year, see where that goes. And I'll hand it off to Braxton. He's going to talk about the next slides.
So moving on to the next team that we have the communications team, and this team sort of goes hand in hand with the community engagement one. But the community engagement team is more focused on the physical aspect of it and going door to door, whereas the communications team is focused on the social aspect or the online aspect. So one of the main goals, of course, is to build this online presence for the mayor's internship program. And then the different things that they're addressing with this team is how are we going to connect with the community? How are we going to, as a program, reach out to the community through an online standpoint? And then also, how can we promote our successes and our contributions to our community? And so one of the accomplishments that this team has had that solves these goals was to creating the Mayor's Internship Program social media account on Instagram. So so that it has about 138 followers. So it's pretty successful, and it's only going to continue to grow. And it's been a really good conduit for us to represent what we've done so far with the program, and I'm pretty proud of that. And then that's all I have for that one. Moving on to the next team, we have the special assignments and policy team, which is what I'm a part of. And so one of the most important aspects of this team is, of course, the positive interactions that we have with people and the policy brainstorming that goes on with the team, as it's titled special assignments and policy. So we like to call this team the quick response team, because one of the most important things about this team is that if there were to be an emergency event and the mayor were to need some last minute volunteers or someone to help run the event, he would send us an email, and we would respond to it pretty fast just so we could help at the event, and that's why we're called the quick response team. And then right now we're working on a few policies. One of the most important ones, and one of the ones that we're farthest on, being our funeral policy. So what this means is if there were to be a long-term resident of Apex that were to unfortunately pass away, or someone who is important to Apex, such as a business owner or a civil servant, we would, as a program, send a condolence card to that person. We would hand deliver it, as well as flowers, depending on whether or not how far they were in the community of Apex. And then another thing that we're working on currently is the newsletter, or a brochure that we're working on. And we're actually pretty far with that one as well. We have a slideshow done for that, and it's going well. And then one other thing that's sort of we're also working on is the policy for birthday cards. So if someone were to, ask us for a birthday card from the Mayor's Internship Program, we as a program would send that to them, and so that's all I have for special assignments. And then our final slide is what is the purpose behind the Mayor's Internship Program? And so one of the most important aspects of this program is the fact that we are teenagers, the fact that we are youth. And so the fact that we as a program are able to have our voices heard through talking to the mayor and talking to the town clerk and interacting with people outside of the program, it's pretty incredible, because one of the things that we really struggle with now is youth being heard and youth being represented. So for this program to be a conduit of that is to be pretty important. And not only that, the applications are open for it, so that means that we're currently building the program, and we're only going to continue building onto it. And I believe that it's going to become an incredible program, or it already is, but it's going to become even more incredible. If there's any questions, feel free to ask, but thank you for listening.
Right. Thank you, Braxton and Zachary. Good job. Thank you. Any questions for our two ambassadors?
I have one. So you say that applications are open. So as soon-to-be graduates from the program, what would you tell somebody who might be interested? Like, what's kind of your sales pitch, right? So,
Yes.
but let's go on record. Let's sell the program to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So something that I didn't really expect about this, and this is definitely not a fault of the program, is this program is kind of prompting the kids that join to kind of think outside the box and be creative. So what I kind of expected when I joined was kind of this rigid program where we like get assignments and we complete the work. And that's not really what it's about. It's more about taking on ideas that you have and building upon them. So we have actually a lot of freedom, and I really appreciate that. And that's something that I would tell like somebody who's applying, is it's actually like a very fulfilling thing. It's more than just unfortunately like a resume booster. Some people kind of look at stuff like that in that way. So I feel like from the standpoint of like gaining some actual experience in civics and stuff like that is really, really interesting. And then also being able to kind of do what you want with the program. I think there's a lot of freedom in that. So apply.
So what's the age range, and if folks who are watching tonight want to apply, how they do that?
Yeah, you can answer.
So currently the applications are open to freshmen, sophomore, and juniors in high school, and these are just people who are in Apex-based high schools. So that's pretty much the range of the people that are in the application range currently, but it's open to everyone. There's no requirements to join the program except for the fact that you had to become coming from an Apex-based high school. So it's open to everyone.
If they want to join, how they apply?
Oh, okay, yes, sorry. So there's an application process, of course. It's posted on the website as well as our social medias. And so they had to fill out this short application, and then after that, after a thorough selection process, there's a phone interview, and then an in-person interview, and then after that, there is an orientation. So it's a pretty lengthy process, but it's just to sort of narrow it down and see which candidates are the best and most, prepared to be part of this program. But it's open to everyone, yes.
And what's the website?
Oh,
Town of
Apex website, yes.
It's under. It's if you look up Apex MIP application, it's like the first to pop up, but it's in the Apex Town website, and then it's under one of the Get Involved tabs.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? I'm proud of y'all. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, setting of the regular meeting agenda. Are there any corrections or suggestions? Hearing none.
Motion to approve?
With the amendment of new business too.
New
right?
Yes, new business too.
Correct. All right,
I'll make a motion to approve.
motion Gant.
I'll second.
Second Zickerman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. We'll move on now to public forum. This is an opportunity for community members to speak. We want to hear from you. And as I always indicate, there are a series of lights here. Green is go, yellow, you have 30 seconds left, and red, wrap up your presentation. So we have the sign-up sheet here now. We'll go ahead and kick it off. We'll start with Elizabeth Stitt. Please give us your name and address.
Elizabeth Raysted, 3113 Friendship Road, Mayor, Town Council, good evening and happy holidays. So coming in front of you in January will be the update to the land use map for our particular area. And through some of the workshops that we did with the planning department, one of the things that was raised to us is that some of our cultural and historical elements that we value about our community are not necessarily known to the greater Apex. So we've been working towards that. So I'm just going to bring you an update on that. So on Saturday, we did have our 44th annual Christmas parade. And the history on that parade is the neighbors literally would block US 1 and the various roads, and they would go out there and hold the parade. So obviously, as the town has grown, we have involved Apex Fire. They always, for the last at least 15, 20 years, have provided at least 2 fire trucks. One starts in the beginning, one comes at the end, and that way all of our parade participants are protected. But we also had Apex Police come out and help us. Wake County Sheriff has jurisdiction, so they provide what they can. But as you know, they're understaffed, so we greatly appreciate the resources from Apex. So maybe next year at the 45th annual parade, you will join us. Then we just got our first Century Farm designated. So the Department of Ag honors any farm that's been in a family for at least 100 years. And so the property next to my property happens to be owned by the Evans family since 1870. So I worked with them on the history and helped do the Century Farm application. So it is a very unique piece of property. We have the history, the deeds. They actually deeded off 1 acre of the 54 acres to Wake County Public Schools for the first black school in 1883, so well before the Rosenwald School. So there's some really interesting history. The plaque will come to me after the holidays. The Evans wanted to share it with their family members first. But once we have that, the local community, we're going to post it, and we'll give all the details to Jenna and team to be able to add that in. We do have 2 more Century Farms that we're working on, so we'll be bringing that to you as well. And we are now registering 3 Civil War graveyards. So there's a lot out in our area that the community doesn't know. So look forward to continue to bringing those updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Don Cozzolino.
Dawn Cozzolino, 3632 Bosco Road. Good evening, Town Council, Mayor Gilbert. I know this is the last meeting of the year, and it's a time of reflection, right? For the holidays, we tend to rush everything and, get into the mode of things, but, we really should reflect and think about what we are grateful for. And I'm grateful. Actually, I attended the Friendship Community Christmas Parade, and it was wonderful. It was a small town feel. And people were just having a great time. And I just want to say that's what's really unique about the Friendship community. And I will say New Hill was involved as well. So our New Hill folks were involved in the parade as well. I just wanted to mention that, a lot of what I've done over the last year is put a focus, like a flashlight, like a focus on some of the topics that I've brought to you in terms of infrastructure projects, road projects, a lot of road projects, traffic safety. But for next year, I'm going to be looking a little bit more closely at things. And the reason is because I want to understand better how things change. For example, I drive by New Holman Road, and I drove over and I see the utility line. It's a huge expanse, there's no trees. And that's where it was planned to put the big branch, the main, the force main and all that, back in the day and back in the history. But for some reason it was moved, and it was moved to private property. And I really want to understand that better. What has changed? Who has changed? Why is there, what has been involved with this? And I think as any responsible government, you need to be able to address questions and also work with the community on answers. And I think moving that western big branch to the south side, as we call it, that's a win-win for everybody. It really is. And earlier, the ambassadors talked about environmental sustainability. Well, yeah, trees. I mean, that's everything around here. So I just want to mention that, and that I wish the community to be engaged with us. It gets very contagious, and I just think that next year can be we can have real solutions for real problems with the money that is from the taxpayers, the real money that is spent. And I think that's very important for all aspects of people's lives. So thank you very much, and have a very nice holiday.
Thank you. Mary?
Mary Muskimen, 3177 Ratama Run. Good evening, Mayor Gilbert and council members, and thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening regarding the ongoing utility billing issue that resulted from the cyber attack in early July. And I just want to stop myself for a moment because I do have 4 people here tonight, so I should have 9 minutes.
Raise your hand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, I'm good. A little background first. 5 months ago, the town of Apex experienced a cyber attack that impacted utility billing for thousands of residents who received power from the town. Many received incorrect bills, including double bills or bills that had not credited previous payments, as was the situation in my case. At least one resident had her bank account wiped out when the town auto-drafted her payment following the cyber attack. Customers were also having difficulty reaching staff via phone for assistance. Phone lines were apparently overwhelmed. In my nearly 3 decades as an Apex resident, I have never seen such a debacle. So I wrote to the town manager in September asking for more information on how the attack happened, why the town moved ahead with auto drafting accounts, and what the town's protocols and training are for staff. And Mr. Vosberg replied that, quote, "The vast majority of our bills have been correct, just not understood by customers as to why they are higher than customers expected," end quote. After another month went by and Apex residents were still reporting incorrect and confusing bills, I wrote to the NC Public Utilities Commission and was told to contact my state representative, which is the required state protocol when a town manages its own utility system. I emailed State Representative Julie Von Hafen for assistance, and she replied that, quote, "As a state legislature, I do not have any direct information or involvement about the issue you contacted me about." The Apex town manager then reached back out to me with a little bit more information about the cyber attack and the difficulty the town was having in reestablishing billing for customers. Since the cyber attack happened, I have spoken with hundreds of people who continue to have issues with their bills. So I launched a petition in November, which I would like to read now. On July 2nd, 2024, the town of Apex experienced a cyber attack that impacted the electric utility bills of all 25,000 households that receive its power from the town. Despite numerous complaints on social media and emails to Apex Town Council regarding inaccurate bills, as of November 10th, 2024, Apex has yet to fully recover from the attack, has yet to provide a timeline to recover, or even publish a strategy to recover. Apparently, resolving the issue is such a low priority that the issue has not been listed as a business item on any town council meeting agenda to date. Cyber attacks are an unfortunate reality, but Apex failure to recover within 4 months raises significant questions that must be urgently answered about the competence and credibility of the town council, town staff, and their contractors to prevent and recover from cyber attacks. As such, the undersigned Apex residents of Apex demand that Apex Town Council take the following actions. A public hearing, immediately hold a public hearing to provide transparency on the full extent of the cyber attack. All affected systems should be disclosed, and recovery plans for each system, the progress made, and anticipated milestones for full recovery should be provided. Town council meetings. Until the town is fully recovered, in each town council meeting as a separate agenda item, ensure that town staff provide a specific update on the recovery plan and the progress made. Update the town's website on a weekly basis. Community Cyber Attack Advisory Board to restore public trust. Create a community board to advise town council and town staff to participate in the selection of third-party audit company and to remain in place through the completion of all audits and full recovery to rebuild trust. Provide additional staff to dramatically reduce wait times and answer phones. Add the ability for residents to schedule time to review bills. Submit to all state investigations regarding the handling of the recovery. Respectfully requested, Apex NC residents. Now, we understand that the town has hired a third-party auditor to review bills. Thank you. We also see that the town has updated the utility billing page to better explain the billing process. Again, thank you. But it's been 5 months, and residents are entitled to more information and transparency on the scope of the cyber attack, all billing issues, how excess charges will be addressed, and what protocols the town will enact to better manage potential future attacks, including better coordination with the state when something like this happens. I'd like to read some of the online comments from Apex residents. They include this from Jeremy. I want to see total transparency regarding the utility bills and the cyber attack that occurred from a different Mary in Apex. I paid my July water bill by phone on July 1, the day before the cyber attack, and had a confirmation number. The next month had a $222 bill, which I paid as well. It was the same amount as the June bill, and I was unaware of the cyber attack, but thought it was strange. Then the next month's bill was over $400. I was shocked, and I called the office to get an explanation, as was told that because of the attack, they had to estimate my bill the previous month, and I owed 60 days worth, which made no sense since I had paid the previous month's bills. Also, my supposed water usage went from 2,000 to 4,000 gallons a month to 15,000. I live alone. I too was told it had to be a leak, but had a plumber and had my water meter changed, and it was not. By September, I finally went into the office after at least 20 phone messages. The representative still did not explain why my water uses were so high and basically said unless I can prove I had a plumbing issue, he would not reimburse my money, and could not explain a 60-day bill when I paid both of the previous bills, and that bill was $600. I'm a single person living on a limited budget, very careful about my water usage, but always pay my bills. I'm not sure what to do moving forward. Crystal writes, Apex billing has become increasingly outrageous because of the cybersecurity attack. My bill was around $120 and now it's over $1,000. They need to fix this sooner rather than later. From Brandy, our bills have varied greatly due to the cyber attack and accountability is necessary. From Margaret, the amount due on the paper statement does not match the numbers on the website. I was billed twice in November. The dates on the statement overlap. Kathleen writes, although I have a Cary address, the town of Apex provides my water. Like so many others, my billing invoice appears very inflated and is impossible to figure out. Apex can and should do better for its customers. So to date, the petition has over 1,800 signatures. The online comments on Facebook, Nextdoor, and X are now a regular occurrence. Friends of mine who work in the security industry express shock and concerns that it has been a full 5 months and the town hasn't recovered. I agree, it's very concerning. There are even some asking if it's time for Duke Energy to take over. In all, Apex hasn't been transparent or efficient and has allowed these issues to go on for too long. Leadership starts at the top, and it's time that you ensure that these issues are discussed during official meetings to ensure accuracy and accountability versus the continuation of platitudes that we've heard for the last 5 months. If we are heard and seen, then where's the transparency and the path to resolution? We look forward to hearing your response, and thank you.
Thank you. Bill Welch.
I'm walking a little stiffly after the parade on Saturday. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Phil Welch, and I live at 1471 Big Leaf Loop. Alan is passing out copies of my remarks. First, I congratulate Director Newman for commissioning the study done by the UNC School of Government's Development Finance Initiative. The DFI staff evaluated properties in Apex suitable for the development of affordable housing. This led to the negotiation to purchase the property at the corner of South Hughes Street and Perry Road, which is item CN8, and now move to the new business part of the agenda. I look forward to following the development of this property into much-needed homes for Apex's low to moderate income families, including especially our essential workers. Second, I have some comments about the Council's work session next Tuesday on Apex's advisory bodies. I'm sorry I won't be able to attend the work session, but I'll be viewing the recording after I return from vacation. In the interest of full transparency, I'm currently the chair of the Housing Advisory Board, but I am speaking tonight as an individual resident, not as the board chair. Number one, I believe the volunteers on advisory bodies play a crucial role in bringing public input into the deliberations of our elected officials, as well as offering public perspectives to our hardworking town staff. Number two, I understand that the support of the advisory bodies by town staff, especially the liaisons assigned to them, requires staff time and effort. I hope we can agree that the value of the public input is well worth the staff resources required. Number three, it is clear that taking some time to ensure consistency in the operational guidelines of the advisory boards is warranted. And number 4, by the same token, better defining the roles and responsibilities of the advisory boards, the interrelationships among them, and the communications and collaborations expected between them and support staff would be very helpful. Finally, I appreciated the opportunity to discuss the experiences that Vice Chair Rhett Fussell and I had on the Housing Advisory Board. We met with Town Clerk Alan Coleman and Deputy Clerk Ashley Gentry, as well as Director Newman and Manager Lamont Taylor. Rhett and I offered several suggestions that I believe Clerk Coleman will be sharing with you next Tuesday. If you have any questions about those suggestions, my contact information is on the sheet that you got. I wish you all a productive work session next Tuesday and a blessed holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexis Kennedy.
Good evening, council members. Alexis Kennedy, 106 Buckhaven Court. As we come into Christmas, I have a very profound disappointment in the people and the churches that celebrate this special holiday. Because at this moment, Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus, Jesus, who is the reason we celebrate Christmas, is under siege, and they all remain silent. Where Bethlehem, Palestine, has been subjected to apartheid and a great wall to divide it from the rest of the world since 2002. Where civilians are unable to practice the Christian faith because Israel has blocked their permits to enter into the holy site, denied their rights to pray and attend some of the oldest Christian churches in the world. Or that Christians in this country and around the world have forgotten that Jesus was a Palestinian Jew, something our Pope has also supported by wrapping baby Jesus into a keffiyeh at the unveiling of the nativity scene at the Vatican just 2 days ago. Or that the oldest Christians are Palestinian Christians. I wonder what people who have remained silent will say to our God on why they paid for our holy site to be under oppression and to spill innocent blood on the Holy Land. It's as if they don't know their own Bible or the meaning of what Christmas represents. And I'm going to quote the words of Father Isaac, a Palestinian Christian who spoke at his congregation on Christmas last year, which was called Christ Under the Rubble. Christmas is not about Santa, trees, gifts, lights, etc. My goodness, how we have twisted the meaning of Christmas. How we have commercialized Christmas. Instead, he says, the Christmas message is that Jesus, who miraculously survived a massacre, was born under the occupied and marginalized. He is in solidarity with us and our pain and brokenness. So my question to my community, when it comes our time to meet our God, and he asks what we did during this time, when Jesus' birthplace was being oppressed, what did you do? Were you silent? Or did you try everything in your power to stop oppression of the oppressed? Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Michelle.
Michelle DePreta. Do I still have to give you my address since everything with the DV? Can I bypass it? I wrote it down though for you.
You just give it for us a record.
I gave it for record. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
What would it have taken? I swore to myself to never look your way again, yet here I am. Funny how your system works, right back where we started. If I hire a third party, does that third party work for me or work for you? You tell anyone anything and have been getting away with it. Are you without consequence, or do you make sure you are insured and bonded? What have you taken? You call yourselves friends, comrades, solutions with a smirk and a smile, yet you do not show to us that substance with such grace. Do you care? Do you spare that square? Will we know how this story ends? What would it have taken? Matthew 21:12.
All right, thank you. All right, that is the last speaker signed up tonight to speak, so we'll go ahead and close public forum. Thank you all who came out and shared. We'll move on now to public hearings. We'll start with public hearing 1, annexation number 791, presented tonight by Diane Ken, Planning Director.
Good evening. This is annexation number 791, the Enderline property at 308 Thorn Hollow Drive. It is located in the northern portion of our jurisdiction. It is a single-family home on approximately 1.1 acres. They have a failed septic system and are requesting annexation to get town utilities. Planning staff does recommend approval of this annexation.
All right, thank you so much. Questions? Hearing none. All right, go ahead and open up public hearing for comment. No one has signed up to speak, so public hearing is closed. It's back to council for a possible motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion,
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem, second. Gant, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. We move on now to new business 1, Facade Grant Program. Diane Ken.
Good evening. So the purpose of the Town of Apex Facade Grant Program is to provide incentive funds in the form of a matching grant to tenants and/or property owners to increase rehabilitation activity, encourage appropriate attractive improvements to downtown buildings and properties, thereby increasing their longevity and raising property values. The properties must be located in the downtown festival district in order to be eligible for the matching grant, and that's the area enclosed with the blue line. Approximately town campus, Hunter Street Park, all the way down to Tingen Road and Justice Heights Street. So the background on the Tier 3 grant proposal, we discussed this at your work session on September 17th. As you may recall, Tier 3 grants are for large-scale exterior improvement projects initiated by property owners. And staff updated the facade grant application and program description, and we went to the planning committee for additional direction on details of the program at their November 14th meeting. So what we discussed at the November 14th meeting was how the money would work. And so what we came up with was the grant can provide up to 50% of the cost of the exterior improvements based on the following: up to a maximum of $200,000 per property per fiscal year, and no more than $300,000 can be issued to any one property for Tier 3 projects within any 36-month period. The details of this program would be approval at the sole discretion of Town Council. We would offer these on a quarterly submittal and award cycle beginning each fiscal year. Applications submitted in July would be considered at the September Town Council meeting. October would be considered in December, January submittals would be considered in March, and April submittals would be considered in June. It would be at your discretion whether to grant it for one project, multiple projects, or no projects in any given year. The Tier 3 projects may include elements shown in the downtown plan or proposed for council consideration on publicly viewable portions of the property, including streetscape elements matching downtown plan in the public right-of-way, or streetscape elements such as pavers, bricks, or bus stops on private property. The creation of patios or other outdoor service areas for public use and benefit on private property. Permanent streetscape-style outdoor furniture for public use and benefit on either public or private property, and other downtown plan elements like canonary lighting, wall murals, ground murals, etc. It could also include public parking on private property and other significant improvements which in the Town Council's sole determination provide benefits to the general public or serve as a catalyst for future development. There would be a requirement for a facade easement and easement agreement. This would be worked out with town staff and the property owner prior to council approval. And then the factors to be included in the agreement would include but not be limited to the following considerations: the level of financial participation by the town, the type of facade and property improvements being proposed, the term of the proposed easement, with a higher funding amount requiring a longer easement length, any other requirements the town would need or like to have in exchange for town funds, and any expenditure of public funds would have to be for a public purpose. So we are here to see if you all would like to have us move forward with this, and then also to have the full council consider the maximum amounts.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Any questions before we move to those things? Everybody ready to roll? Okay. So the first one is the maximum, right? So you want to approve?
So, yeah, I mean, basically just we'd want to know if you would want the grant to provide up to 50% of the cost of the exterior improvements, and if the answer is yes, then what would the maximum be per fiscal year and per 3-year period?
Okay. So as presented, 200,000, is that?
Want to speak for the committee, or?
Yeah, if we need a little more flavor, this discussion point, we didn't necessarily know what the answer was supposed to be on this. So I think Terry just picked a number that seemed appropriate.
I pondered it deeply.
You pondered deeply. I mean,
listen. Well, let me speak on that. Like, no, we tried to come up with some values that were consistent with our work session. Staff came to us. We had to fill in some blanks. These are the numbers we put in, and now it's coming to council for your thoughts. We can go with this, so you can change it if we'd like. But we thought this is consistent with our discussion at the work session, and presents a cohesive policy, which we hope achieves the goals of the Facade grant.
And to your credit, this is a new program. We're not quite sure what's going to be presented, so that it's hard to know what the appropriate amount should be. But
and I also want to point out there was some discussion about the process for approval on the next slide.
Yeah.
And what we ended up after a discussion for a while, we came up with this process where they would be batched up together and brought to us quarterly, and we would be able to approve one, none, all, some of them or none of them. Other alternatives there, we do any way we want, but this is the process that we came to in the planning committee meeting.
And the concern on that one was if it's first come, first serve, there may be several projects, the second or third of which we really like. The first one just came in first. And so we thought the batching like this would enable us to, at our discretion, to, if we saw a project that was a little more valuable for the public good, then it may get the money, especially if there's an overall cap on the program that we don't want to surpass. This would be the best way we thought of doing that, while also being cognizant of the schedules of construction that may be needed, kind of fast approvals that they.
So it's not annual.
It's not annual, so quarterly was where we landed.
Consider also the size of the grant program. We felt made it appropriate to bring it to council publicly to discuss and for us to choose. First come, first serve. It may not be the most meritorious project. It might not be the first one. And we're talking about 6 figures here, so
yeah,
that's why we came on that recommendation. And now it's bring it to the full council for your thoughts.
Yeah. And so the cap, we're not proposing a cap here. The cap will basically be set through the budgeting process, like in terms of how much we want to allocate to the program in any given fiscal year.
And because it's coming to us, we could even direct staff to amend the budget if we need to. If we have 4 projects that are all we thought were just super valuable to the town and we have to do them, we have the ability to modify the budget at that meeting or direct staff to bring a budget amendment to fund multiple projects if we'd like to.
But we discussed a possible cap that we presumably, I forget, was it 400? No, it was 200,000 was the cap. Or no, what was it?
I think the council member is correct that it would be set through the budget process. I was just pointing out we have the ability to modify that should we get a bunch of valuable projects. It's a political decision we can make at that meeting.
I like the quarterly review cycle instead of just one at a time. So I think that's a great recommendation, fully supportive of it. As far as the numbers are concerned, given that this is a new program, there's not a whole lot of precedent for us to base the program on. These appear to be reasonable assumptions, and I think with continued monitoring and then see kind of judge the request coming in, we can make tweaks to the grant program as we go. But as far as planting a flag and then getting started somewhere, I support these recommendations.
One thing I forgot to mention is, that amount looks like a lot, but if you're talking about a whole renovation of a building, it may not be very much. But this is only for exterior related things or streetscapes, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure how much fixing an exterior of a building would cost versus the whole thing, but I assume it's quite a bit less than doing structural things on the inside or some kind of stuff on the inside that could really add up.
Public benefit and the program is structured. To underline the final slide, we're part of the program. We are getting an easement from the property owner, or it's going to depend on the project what the easement is exactly. We'll negotiate that, but we're gaining access to the facade, or maybe it's a parking lot, or maybe it's a bench, whatever it happens to be. We get a written agreement for public use for that of some sort, depending on the project.
And I know that we've mentioned that it's a new program, but actually it's Tier 3 is the new portion. We've had this in existence for a while. I think it's important to make sure that folks understand that we've had this facade program. It's one that hasn't been taken advantage of a lot, which is why this is a new way of kind of reinvigorating this program and giving a little bit more flexibility for those who are in areas that need to get this sort of, they need repairs, but we want public access. We want to be able to improve things. And in the end, what we're really trying to do with this program is let's open up portions of Apex that have been a little bit on the economically stifled side and give them an opportunity to thrive and grow. I know we get a lot of comments from folks saying we only focus on the downtown buildings, basically between Hunter Street and Chatham Street. This gives a bigger reach for those businesses to be able to get necessary expansions and for us to expand that, that walking space, that shopping space, that eating space, that play space even further than it is, and make sure that the community has equal access to those aspects. So I think, this tier is something that's absolutely necessary. I love the quarterly approach because that gives us a little bit more flexibility when it comes to figuring out who's in. So hats off to the committee for that recommendation. I know it seems like 50% or 300,000 is a lot, but I mean, I'm sure if we start taking a look at what some of these improvements may actually require in terms of pure renovations or things that are going to be required just to kind of like get, move water and stuff like that, we may need to revisit this in the future and see whether or not that's a sufficient enough number. And, it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and second. Any other discussion? I want to thank staff for all the work on this. Appreciate it. The adjustments made. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to new business 2. Councilman Zigerman.
Yeah, so this is previously consent item number 8. It's the acquisition of a property at the corner of Hughes and Perry Road in Apex. The only reason I wanted to highlight this is that it's a significant investment that the town is making in affordable housing. This is something that we have talked about for a long time. We've conducted studies. We have looked at what would be suitable areas in the town of Apex for affordable housing communities, and this was one of the areas that was identified. And this is effectively the town putting its money where its mouth is, by applying some of the funds that we have collected through tax collections, the 1 cent of our tax rate that we apply and set aside for affordable housing projects, and we had some help from the American Recovery Act. I didn't say that right. There's a P in there somewhere. ARPA. So I think this is a good news story. This is a future investment in affordable housing. We don't know yet what that's going to look like, what exactly we're going to be building there, but the fact that we are in a position to acquire this land and make that dedication for future affordable or workforce housing use, I think is significant. And I just wanted to highlight that and call it out instead of just slipping it into a consent item.
Thank you for doing that. Very important. That's your motion?
That's, my motion is to approve what used to be consent item 8, the property acquisition.
Thank you so much,
I
Councilman.
add one thing before I second that. Big thanks to Demetra and Marla for the hard work on this one. We know that, I know it's not just you two. I'm just identifying you two as the spearhead for all others that were in this, but this was a big, heavy lift, and we appreciate all the hard work on that, so proudly second.
All right. Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Maybe if I could, I'm actually going to, I'm going to vote no on this. The reason is not because I'm against affordable housing, but because I've long thought that we should endeavor to have the most units per dollar created. And I don't believe with the sale price, I think it'll be quite a bit higher than our typical unit per dollar created affordable housing. So I think the money could go further in different ways. So I'm going to vote no.
All right. Any other discussion before we take the official vote? All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
All right, motion passes 4-1. So thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. All right, updates by Manager Vosberg.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple items. I want to start, I don't do this enough, and we tend to do it around the holidays, but I want to say thank you to Team Apex, specifically Diane, her group, for their work on the Facade grant, Marla and her team for work on the housing, our Parks team for their work on the next piece that I'm going to announce with our movie. A lot of times we throw these projects with kind of we want to get it done, and staff drops everything and gets them done. So I just wanted to express my appreciation, not to leave out departments. Everybody does stuff, but I wanted to specifically recognize those tonight that really rose to the level and got things done. So that's first. Second, is positive, and it is what we sent out to council about the movie in Pleasant Park that we kicked off. And it's going to be on December 19th. It's going to be Polar Express. The park will open at 4:45. The movie will start at 6. They've really put together an awesome event. We're going to have food truck vendors, Cream and Sugar, Vic's Pizza will be there. We've got our Apex Youth Council leading activities, craft activities, which include make your own popcorn bar, jingle bell bracelet craft. So it's really going to be a great time. You can register for that event through our website. It's up and running right now for registration. We're gonna try it this year and hopefully build upon it with each subsequent year and make it a bigger and better event. But we're super excited about that event coming and just wanted to get the notice out there. We are finalized. We signed the contract today, so we're launching the announcement. We've already had people register even before the official announcement, so that's how much excitement there is for this. So I would encourage you, if you are interested, hurry up and register. You'll be able to attend in your vehicle, but we're limited on parking capacity the way the screens are set up. So you can register, you'll get a parking piece of paper for a parking permit for your vehicle. We then have overflow parking where you can then bring your chairs. So you can park your vehicle, set your chairs up to be able to view so we can accommodate a few more people, but not everyone will be able to stay in their car. So depending on weather, you might want to bundle up and bring a blanket. The weather so far looks pretty okay, a little mild on temperatures that night, so we're holding on. We'll monitor that. It is not a rain or shine event. If it does rain, we will have to cancel because of the nature of the equipment that'll be out there, but fingers crossed, forecast looks good, and we're excited about the event. So, and that's all that I've got.
Getting stuff done, I love it. I just have one question. Was Councilmember Mahaffey the first one to sign up? He did. Okay, I figured it was.
My chair's already out there. My spots.
And then one last thing, I would say Assistant Manager Marty Stone was leading the way on the holiday outfit, and I think you got some challenge now, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate you guys using my tailor.
Well done. Thank you so much. Any other business before we move to closed session? All right. Is there a motion to go into closed session for the 2 items listed?
Motion to go into closed session.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Second. Killingsworth. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries unanimously. We move into closed session. All right. Any other business? Hearing none. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Next week. We're gonna see you next week now.
Well, you won't see.
That's